want to. And there it is. It's recording. So let me move this guy out of the way so it's we get a nice dark image. There we go. So the first thing that I want to do is import some sort of an image. All right. So what I want to do is first find something that I'm going to do. So oftentimes when I demonstrate this, I go and I get a crest. Okay. So I look up here and I'm going to get a crest image. All right. So what I'm looking for is something like these guys. All right. And I'm just going to go ahead and pick something and I'm going to do it. All right. Now, obviously I'm going to pick something very, very simple because I want to do it tonight. You know, I'm not going to do all of it, but I'm going to do part of it. So I don't want to pick anything too complicated. That's going to take me too long. So that's one of the things that I talk to you about is when you find your image that you want to do, don't be afraid to say, hey, you know, shoot me an email. And that's what I told the class before. I said, hey, shoot me an email and let me know, hey, is this good? Can I do this? Is it challenging enough? But yeah, can I get it done? And, you know, I will be straight with you and tell you. So what I'm going to do is pick this guy right here. Okay. So I'm going to find my image and now I'm going to save that image. Okay. And let's see, I want it to be on the desktop. So I'm going to save it. Okay, it calls it some crazy thing, but I really don't care. And there it is. All right, so it's saved onto my desktop. So now that I'm in Desmos, all right, and again, I'm recording this, right? So if you want to remember how to do it, then you'll be able to watch this. So now I'm going to go to plus here and image. So you see the image is one of the choices. All right. And so let's see, I got to make sure I'm on the desktop, which I'm not. Here it is. And there's my image right there. So I'm opening that. Oh, that's not the right image. Okay, let's try another image here. This is not the right image. I don't even know what this is. Cancel. There we go. Let me try this again. So let me find another image back on the desktop. Oh, it must have been this guy. Here we go. There we go. So here it is. Now you can move this thing around. All right. Like this. You can grab the center port here and move this around. Okay. I wouldn't probably, you can move it around this way. Okay. By just taking it and shrinking it or enlarging it. Same thing here. But this is the one that's going to move it. All right. So you can play with them and get it to be whatever it is that you want as far as the size by moving this and positioning. I'm going to just kind of leave this thing right here at 0, 0. It even tells me what the center is up here. Okay. So I'm just going to leave that at center at 0, 0. All right. So now what I want to do is I'm going to create, this is kind of thick here. Let me see if I can just get it thinned down a little bit. I want to try to find a polynomial or something, right, that outlines this thing here. All right, that's what I'm going to do. So I think what I'll do is I'll start with this thing down here on the bottom. All right. Now, here's something that I know. I know that if I go y equals x to the third, that I get this kind of a graph. All right. Which is kind of close to this. All right. So if I went and put here and went up like that, okay, that's pretty close to this part here. So if I, in other words, if I drop this down, right, I could maybe get it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play with that. So I'm going to drop this down. And sometimes what I like to do is put a little slider in like that. And now I can slide it down to where maybe I kind of like what I got. All right. Something like that, maybe. All right. Okay. So maybe I'm pretty happy with that 4.3. What I'm going to do is actually going to put the 4.3 in there. All right. And now I have that and it's in there. So, but now I really want this thing to kind of widen out a little bit. So I'm going to try sticking a number in front. of this. And I could put another slider in there, actually. You'll see if I put another slider in there, you can move it around. But I think I want it to be a little different in how I handle that. So I'm going to get rid of the slider. And I'm going to put in a 0.01. All right, now this is pretty wide, right? So maybe I want to make it a little bit different. So I'm just going to kind of keep playing. Now what's going to happen is you're going to find out that you're going to be doing a lot of the same thing. All right, that you're going to kind of play around with this and get it to where you want it. All right, so let's see. Maybe if I move this over a little bit. So I'm going to try to come down here and take this and move it over just a little bit. And again, I could put sliders in here, right? But I'm choosing not necessarily not to. I'm just going to kind of play with it myself, right? Until I get what I want. All right, so there, that's not very good. Ooh, that's getting a little better, okay? If I particularly see here, maybe I can get it to be, you can see this curve would go right there. I'd be in pretty good shape. So maybe what I'll do is move this actually over more and then try to bring it up. See here, I think I will add a slider in this case, because then I can adjust it a little bit. And let's see, I kind of want to just bring this over. Man, that's getting closer. I'm kind of liking it a little bit now better. See how I can get it to just kind of grab right onto that. Maybe now I can change this a little bit so it's not so flat. Let's try a 0.1. You can kind of see that it's sort of getting close here where I'm matching that curve. All right. I just need this thing to come up a little bit more and maybe this to drop down a little bit more. So I'm just going to try a 0.2. Okay, and not too bad. Maybe I can get this curve. So as you can see here, it's just a lot of playing around, getting it to where you want it to be. All right. I'm kind of liking this one. So I got a little bit of airspace there. So if I move it over just a little bit more, there we go. And then up a little bit more. Ooh, look at how nicely that fits on that part. That looks pretty good. Okay, maybe I can get something that fits this part differently. All right, so I think I'm going to stick with this. But what I want to do is I don't want all this extra stuff here. Okay, so I really don't want to draw anything before 2.3, nor do I want to draw anything after 3.9. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, change this to a -3. All right, and now what I'm going to do, okay, so what I'm going to do is restrict the domain. That's what it's called. So I'm going to restrict it so it only draws from 2.4 to 3.89. And to do that, I need these braces. So I'm going to go like that. And now I'm going to go 2.4. And I'm going to use an inequality sign. It really doesn't matter which one I choose. So I'm going to kind of just choose both of these. What was it? 3.9, I think. All right, so you can see that now I just have that chunk. All right, so that's pretty good. Now here, right, I mean, you're going to have some times where you're just going to have to put a line in there, right? So you can do that, okay? But now I kind of need this part, right? So maybe I'm not too sure what I'm going to put there. Well, one function that's kind of useful is a square root. And you can use a square root because a square root is one of the functions that we did. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce another slider. And I don't know. Oh, here it is. Oh, that sheet. Yeah, okay. So I introduce another slider. So I'm going to bring that down to here. And now all I got to do is just kind of widen that a little bit. So what if I try like or steepen it? Let's try a 0.5. That's not what I want to go in that direction. Let's try a 2. Oh, that's not good. Too much. 1.5. And again, you can use a slider on this. It's just that I have found that this guessing is actually a little bit better. All right, so look at that. That was really pretty close. So I'm going to change this color to blue. All right, so it looks the same. And now I want to restrict it. So I want to restrict it to that 2.4. So let me change this to a -5 so I have it in the right spot. And now I'm going to use the braces again. So I'm going to go back. Here's my braces. Okay, and I want to start graphing it at 0. Even though it's going to start at 0, I'm going to put 0 in there anyway. All right, let me go back here, go like this, and put X. And we're only restricting the X. Okay, we're not restricting the Y. Doggone it. I forgot to put my inequality in there, which will happen once in a while. And there it is. So now I've got this, and you can barely see that little block there and stuff like that, so I'm not too worried about it. So there is my bottom part. Now to get the part over here, I'm going to do pretty much the same thing, okay? Because it's symmetric, right? So let me go back up here and try this. Let me go y equals 0.2 parentheses x. Now I'm going to go with a plus 1.8, okay, and cube that and see what happens, okay, and -3, and let's see. It doesn't look right. It looks opposite, right? So if I put a negative in front, look at that. There it is. Okay, because I know, I'm using all those transformation ideas that I learned a while ago. If I put a number in front here, that's a stretch, right? If I shift it up and down, shifting it left and right, putting a negative reflects it. So now I kind of have that. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Look at this. I'm going to go from -379 to 2.4. All right, so I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did there. Since it's negative, I have to start there. So I'm going to put 3.6, was it? I think less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2.4. Okay, so it looks like this. It looks like it kind of went too far though. 2.27. Where's it at? Here it is. It has to be negative. Oh, I got that. Looks pretty good, I think. There we go. So I got that little chunk. Maybe it should go just a little bit. I'm not exactly sure what I had this one go to. 3.9. Okay, so I'm going to make this a 3.9. There we go. All right. So I have this part in and this part. Now I'm going to go ahead and do that square root. Y equals. And let's see. I'm going to do the square root. So it's probably going to be the same thing I'm thinking, right? Except that what I want to do is have it go the other way. All right. So this time I kind of want to reflect it over that axis. So let's try this. Oh, there we go. All right, so now I got it to do that, and now I want to bring it down. Okay, last time I brought it down 5. Let's try bringing it down 5. And now again, we'll restrict it, right? So I'm going to go with the little braces, right? Start out here at, now I got to get the negative, so that'd be -3.9, because I'm going left to right. Okay, so I have to put that in there. I'll go this way, x, go this way, and 0. And change the color. Let's see what it looks like, and there it is. It's blue. So I think I went a little bit too far. Remember now, I didn't go 3.9. I want to do about 2.4, and there it is. Okay, so you can see that, oh, that's not bad, right? So now all I got to do is these W parts here and these things. So obviously, this would be not a very challenging one. You wouldn't want to pick it. But I chose it because I wanted to. Okay, that's pretty nice. I wanted to show you how to do this. All right, so the idea is to find some polynomials. There are some functions. We did some square roots. All right. Use some sliders. A lot of people can use sliders quite a bit, and that will help you with it. The one thing that we want to do though is create folders, because that was one of the things that we get graded on. You know, is creating folders so we can put stuff in. It really helps you organize things. So I'm going to show you how to create a folder. So we go to the plus and folder, and I'm just going to put the bottom because that's what this is. It's just the bottom. All right. And that means that this little triangle here is pointing downward. That just like drops down stuff. So what I want to do is put this guy into that. Now it's hard for you to see, but right now there's this little tiny, you can barely see it. I can see it there. Hopefully it shows up on the video. This little vertical line here, and this connects it. That means that's going to be in that folder. So I'm going to come down to here, and I'm just kind of grabbing and clicking, and sometimes I get it and sometimes I don't. It's really tricky. I don't even have the, I wish I had the magic touch for that, but I don't. It could be because this, let me see if I can shift this out of the way. Sometimes if there's something in the way there, it messes it up. There it goes. I finally got it. Okay, here's this one. See if I can get that one in there. Good. And let me see if I can get this one in there. That's good. Okay, I really don't need the A one in there, okay, because it's not an equation anyway. Now watch when I click this, those are gone, all right? So those things are all in the folder. And we're going to actually do some things with folders tonight. But you'll see, open them, there it is, close it. And it tidies it up so it makes it cleaner for you to do. So once you get these A values, I would get rid of them. So again, that just kind of tidies it up, right? And you have the slider value in there anyway. So that's kind of how this works, all right? It is a lot of playing around with stuff and trying to get the equations to work. Again, you want to make sure you kind of have a feeling for the fact that, you know, what do third degrees look like? What do second degrees look like? What do fourth degrees look like? Because if I see those on here, that's what I'm going to use. Like for this one, you might be able to do this with a fourth degree because it kind of looks like a W, right? So you might be able to use a W on that to get it to work. All right. So that would be slick if you could, because then you would be done. Absolute values are all free. Logarithms. I don't know if I've ever. I don't know if I've never, I mean, I've seen anybody use a logarithm, but it's not real common. Some have used the rationals that we're going to look at tonight. I've seen that used, but most people stick to the polynomials. You'll know that you did something wrong here if you go x equals, because anytime you go x equals, okay, that's not a polynomial. So you can't have any x equals. You can't have any y squareds because that's not a polynomial. I've seen some of that stuff. It's got to be y equals. Okay, it's got to be y equals. You can do some lines, but you know, limit those. Limit those as much as possible, and use polynomials. So I hope this helps you. Again, make sure you probably already have created a Desmos account and put your stuff in there and save it. I could show you this one that I had a high school student do. It was just fabulous. She had a ballet dancer on a stage, and the detail was incredible. And she put a lot of work into it, and came up to me one night and one time and said, "I lost it." And I said, "What happened?" Well, you know, she didn't put it in her account and clicked out of Desmos accidentally. And boom, it was gone, because once you click out of Desmos without saving anything, it's not going to be there. But she went ahead back through and ended up pretty much redoing the whole thing, and then added more to it. It's super design. So anyway, so make sure you create an account and make sure you save it. And it's really easy to do. Create an account, and most of you probably have. You save it, make sure you title it, and it's a done deal. Okay. Please don't put it in my account, because I go through it once in a while, and if I don't recognize something, I just delete it, because I got so much stuff in my account. So I usually get rid of that. All right, I'm going to save this. Let's see, stop sharing. And again, I hope that was helpful. And this